Can you introduce, please? What is your name and
Okay.
your?
Hi, I'm Chuck McElwee. I own and operate Air Australia International in Perth, Western Australia.
Okay. And what happened in your airport a couple weeks ago?
Well, we had a plane flying out, a student pilot. It was his third flight, the first flight in this particular airplane. And his instructor passed out, and nobody knew why, and he had to land by himself. And so what we did, the student found the airport, but the guys in the tower needed to talk him down so he could land. He had never landed an airplane before. So we sent an instructor up to the tower who helped the guys in the tower and calmed the individual down. And then he practiced landing but didn't touch down. And just before it got dark, he touched down and taxied free. The entire time he was doing this, which it turned out a perfect landing, but his wife, who was pregnant, his infant, his toddler, little 2-year-old, and his 3-year-old were in the building watching him do the landing. This could have been a really bad accident, but it turned out okay.
Yeah.
And the instructor, it turned out, came to just as the airplane touched down. And he went to the hospital and he had a brain tumor, which meant he had a seizure and passed out. And he had that removed by the hospital 2 days after the landing. And 2 days later, he was out of the hospital. But he is no longer on flight status because the government regulators won't let him be. And he has to do a series of tests before they'll put him back on flight status.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, what other questions?
How do you think why this student can make landing successfully? Is it good theoretical?
He's
He
a
was
very
good
smart student
prepared.
who's very dedicated to learning to fly. And he mentally practiced all the time, and he remained calm, and he listened to the tower, people in the tower, and he listened to the flight instructor who was in the tower with the people, and he did what they said, and he landed. He landed perfectly. For the pilots out there, he landed on center line, taxied clear of the runway, and shut the aircraft down. In aviation, they say a good landing is one you can walk away from. A great landing is when you can use the plane again. We can use the plane again. The plane went flying the very next day. And the young man has been flying, and anybody, anywhere in the world that wants to help him, he has a GoFundMe page to help pay for the rest of his flight training. But his name is Max Sylvester, and he's a pretty cool guy.
How old is he?
I'd say he's about 28.
Pretty young.
Pretty young. But he's a young married man, and he has 3 kids for sure, a 4th on the way.
Yeah.
And his wife is as solid as a rock. She sat and watched and was never upset about it.
How many years you are in aviation?
Last March, 50 years.
Whoa, almost 50.
Everybody's got to do something, but if it wasn't in aviation, I'd have to work. This is not work for me, this is fun.
Yeah, I see. Have you ever, is it happening something like this before in your practice, in your experience?
It's happened several times during my years of flying, but never in general aviation, which is civilian aviation. Usually things like this turn into crashes.
Yeah.
But this was an excellent outcome. So pilots all over the world are looking at this and saying, great, good. This young man is going to be a future good pilot.
So now this young boy, he's like a hero. He's a hero aviator.
He is. He's been on TV networks are paying him to come on and talk about his experience. His instructor is going on with him. People have offered them free experiences like driving a Boeing, full-size Boeing simulator, things that he would have had to pay for another day, but these were all things that they just offered to give him.
Yeah.
And he didn't, in the interview, if you get the tapes, he said, I'm not paying for this flight. No, he didn't pay for the flight. I didn't ask him to pay for the flight.
Could you give him a license for fly?
Today?
Yeah.
No, I have to go back and teach him all the stuff he skipped.
Yeah.
Yes, you know, he did well, but he didn't learn everything he needs to know to become a really good pilot. But he will, and he'll fly around and be a great pilot for some airline or some company.
How many years or months he need to study it?
To be a commercial pilot in Australia, it will take a little over a year. Mostly it's security checks and theory exams. The actual learning to fly, the actual flying the airplane, doesn't take that long. If that's all we had to do, it would take about 8 months. But we really want them to be not we want them to be a great pilot. We don't want them to be just qualified. And at my company, we always make sure they're great pilots before we let them loose. Some companies don't do that.
So, is it any people can go to your school and be a pilot? For example, if I want to be a pilot, can I go and you teach me? Really?
I've taught people from all over the world. I've even had Russians
Wow.
come through, and they were in Australia, and then they went off to do something else. But they were they had been ex-military Russians. They did not know how to fly. And I don't know what your special forces are, but they belong to that. And they were great guys and great skills, but anybody can learn to fly. In my company, we say we sell dreams. Anybody that ever thought they wanted to fly, they can learn to fly. It doesn't matter if you come to Australia or you learn to fly in Russia or you learn to fly in America or Canada or anywhere. You should, if you're interested in learning to fly, go sign up for a trial flight and just have the experience. Mm-hmm. But make sure they let you do the takeoff because it's easier than driving a car and it's far safer.
Okay. How much money I will spend if I want to be a pilot?
Here, minimum cost is 85,000 Australian. Minimum cost to be a commercial pilot. To be a private pilot would be about 22,000 Australian. Mm-hmm. Now, that's not the minimum amount, that's a real amount. Mm. You have to be, if you're gonna go and learn to fly, companies always have promotions. But you need to use common sense. If they don't know you, why would they give you a special deal? You should always pay as you go, which means when you fly, you pay, you don't give them a lot of money up front. And then you progress at your own speed because you have other things to do in your life, like raise your family and do your job and stuff like that. And then when you learn to fly. But one thing's true, the one flight every pilot remembers is their first solo. Max, this young man, he got his first solo about 15 hours ahead of schedule because the instructor was passed out. So we gave him a first solo certificate. Okay?
Yeah, I see.
So when you learn to fly in any other place, they'll have a first solo certificate. It's a big deal. Every pilot remembers that flight.
It's really a big deal.
It is a big deal. And it's almost as big a deal as the first time you drove your father's car.
Yeah.
It's almost, but not quite, because I'm not your father.
Yeah.
And most people are more afraid of me hurting
Really?
my airplane than their father.
Wow.
See, because I trust you. You know, I give you an airplane worth a lot of money to go learn to play with it.
Of course.
Okay?
Yeah.
Anything else?
I don't know, maybe you want to add something else and I didn't ask this.
No. Look, people should take up flying no matter what country they're in. It's far safer than driving, and it's fun. And if it's not fun, go do something else.
I know what I want to say. Thank you for Wilson. Yeah, thank you very much. You teach him, and now he's a super pilot. I call him super pilot almost every day, and I fly with him before, a couple months ago, maybe last year. Yeah, last year.
He's a good pilot.
He's a good
really
pilot.
good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's a Chinese pilot. No. But he's like my son, my Chinese son, over here.
Oh, it's here.
My mom said it's my dad. Just
This is
Still.
for TV interview. That will be cut. But
Okay.
I can't praise him to his face because if I do, he'll get the big head. Swell head.
Okay.
Anything else?
I think it's okay for a while.
You can come back anytime. Leave Wilson at home.
Thank you.